Before I say anything else, I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you paused, not to check your phone, not to chase another task, not to worry about what's missing, but simply to notice what's already here? Think about it. We spend so much of our lives racing toward the next goal, the next achievement, the next success, that we forget the greatest gift we hold in this very moment is gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite word we whisper at dinner tables. Gratitude is a force. It has the power to shift your perspective, to reshape the way you experience life, to strengthen you. When everything feels like it's falling apart, gratitude doesn't just change what you see, it changes who you are, and I promise you this, if you allow yourself to lean in today, if you truly listen. Not with your ears, but with your heart, this simple truth about gratitude could change not just how you live your life, but how deeply you feel it. Because gratitude is not about waiting until life is perfect, it's about realizing life already is a gift. So stay with me, not halfway, but all the way. Because what we are about to explore together could be the very shift you've been waiting for, the key that unlocks strength, joy, and fulfillment that no setback, no failure, and no challenge can ever take away from you. When we talk about gratitude, the first thing we must understand is that it's not about ignoring reality or pretending life is perfect. Gratitude is about perspective. It's about where we choose to put our focus. Because let me tell you something, what you focus on expands. If you wake up every day and only look at what's missing, what's broken, what's wrong, you will feel like life is against you. But the moment you shift your perspective and begin to recognize what you already have, you unlock a completely different energy. Gratitude doesn't erase challenges, but it gives you a lens that makes the blessings bigger than the burdens. Think about how often we take the smallest things for granted. The fact that you woke up this morning with breath in your lungs, with the chance to try again, that alone is a gift. But most people overlook it because they're already rushing into the day, worried about deadlines, consumed by distractions, measuring themselves against others. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. It reminds you that you're not behind, you're not empty. You already hold so much more than you give yourself credit for. That awareness alone can change how you approach everything. I've seen people with almost nothing radiate joy because their hearts were full of gratitude. And I've seen people who had everything still feel empty because they could never stop chasing what they didn't have. That's the difference perspective makes. Gratitude transforms scarcity into abundance. It's not about how much you own, it's about how deeply you appreciate. It's not about waiting for life to be perfect. It's about learning to see perfection in what already exists. Every single one of us has moments where we feel like we don't measure up, where we wish we had more success, more recognition, more comfort. That's human, but here's the truth. The gap between where you are and where you want to be will never shrink if you only focus on what's missing. Gratitude closes that gap. It teaches you that even while you're reaching higher, you can honor what's already here. Gratitude says, yes, I want more, but I won't ignore the beauty of now. And when you learn to live in that balance, you stop feeling deprived and start feeling empowered. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people running the same race. One spends the entire time thinking about how tired they are, how much farther they have to go, how painful every step feels. The other feels the same exhaustion, but they remind themselves how lucky they are to even have legs that carry them, lungs that breathe, and a chance to push their limits. Same race, same challenge, completely different experience. That's gratitude at work. It doesn't change the circumstance, it changes the meaning you attach to it. And when you change the meaning, you change the outcome. Gratitude also keeps you present. So many of us are living in the future, waiting for the day we finally feel happy, fulfilled, successful. But when that day comes, we push the bar even further. That's why some people keep chasing without ever arriving. Gratitude stops that endless chase. It roots you in the moment and whispers, "This is enough. You are enough right here, right now." From that place, you don't stop growing, but you stop starving. You live with both ambition and peace, and here's something powerful. Gratitude isn't passive, it's active. It requires intention. It means you wake up and choose to look at your life differently. You choose to notice the people who love you, the opportunities you've been given, the lessons you've learned from even the hardest days. That choice doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how you show up. It changes the energy you carry into every room, every conversation, every challenge. People who live with gratitude don't just inspire themselves, they inspire everyone around them. The truth is, gratitude is the foundation for everything else in life. Without it, no amount of success will ever feel like enough. Without it, relationships will always feel incomplete. Without it, you'll always feel like you're running but never arriving. But with gratitude, even the smallest victories feel like celebrations, even setbacks feel like lessons, and even ordinary days feel like blessings. Gratitude is what allows you to truly live instead of just exist. And if you want to test this for yourself, try it right now. Think of one thing, just one that you've been overlooking. It could be your health, your family, your freedom, or simply the fact that you woke up to another chance today. Hold on to that thought and let it sink in. Notice how your energy shifts. Notice how quickly a simple acknowledgement of gratitude can soften your heart and lift your spirit. That's how powerful it is. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It teaches you to see not just what is missing, but what is already meaningful. And once you learn to live with that vision, you'll never look at life the same way again. Gratitude shows its true power not when life is easy, but when life feels impossible. It's easy to be grateful when everything is going right, when success is pouring in, when the world feels like it's on your side. But what about the days when nothing seems to go as planned? What about the nights when you can't sleep because your heart feels heavy with disappointment? Or when you face a setback so big it makes you question your own worth? That's when gratitude is no longer just a word. It becomes resilience. You see, gratitude doesn't erase pain, it gives it meaning. It doesn't deny the difficulty of the struggle, but it allows you to face it with strength rather than despair. When you can look at your challenges and say, even in this, I have something to be thankful for, you begin to rise above the weight of the moment. Gratitude turns your perspective from "why is this happening to me?" into "what can I learn from this?" And that shift alone is what keeps you moving forward when most people give up. Think about some of the hardest moments you've ever lived through. At the time, it may have felt unbearable. You might have questioned whether you could keep going, but looking back, you often realize those moments shaped you, strengthened you, taught you lessons that success never could. Gratitude in hardship is about recognizing that even in pain, there is purpose. Even in loss, there is growth. Even in failure, there is wisdom. It doesn't mean you celebrate the pain, but you acknowledge the gift it leaves behind. That acknowledgement is what builds resilience. I've seen people crumble under the weight of challenges not because they weren't strong, but because they only focused on the pain. And I've seen others endure the same struggles but walk away with courage and dignity because they chose to look at what the struggle gave them, not just what it took away. Gratitude was their anchor. Gratitude didn't make the storm disappear, but it gave them a reason to keep standing in the middle of it. Sometimes the most powerful form of gratitude is simply saying, "Thank you for the strength I didn't know I had." When life tests you, when doors close, when people doubt you, gratitude is the reminder that you are still here, still fighting, still learning. That mindset doesn't make the pain vanish, but it prevents the pain from breaking you. Instead, it becomes part of your story, a story that speaks of endurance and courage. Gratitude also shifts how you carry failure. Most people see failure as the end of the road, but gratitude sees failure as a teacher. It allows you to look at what went wrong and say, "This is painful, but it is not wasted." Every setback carries a lesson, every disappointment carves out space for growth. Gratitude teaches you not to fear failure, but to use it as fuel. Without that perspective, failure feels like defeat. With gratitude, failure feels like preparation. Even in the darkest seasons, there are flickers of light if you're willing to notice them. Maybe it's a friend who stood by you, a lesson that toughened you, or even the simple fact that you survived what you thought would break you. Gratitude invites you to hold onto those lights instead of drowning in the darkness. And over time, those small lights add up, guiding you through until you find your way again. Resilience is not built by avoiding pain. It's built by facing it with a heart that can still say, "I'm thankful." Thankful for the fight that's shaping you. Thankful for the lessons you'll carry forward. Thankful even for the scars because they are proof you didn't give up. Gratitude in hard times doesn't make you weak. It makes you unshakable. Because while others see only obstacles, you begin to see opportunities for growth, for strength, for becoming someone you never thought you could be. And here's the truth, life will test you. There will be moments that push you to your limits, moments that break plans, moments that make you question everything. But if you can root yourself in gratitude during those storms, you'll discover a resilience that cannot be taken from you. Gratitude will remind you that you are stronger than the setback, greater than the challenge, and braver than the fear. Gratitude builds resilience in hard times because it turns wounds into wisdom, pain into purpose, and challenges into chapters of strength. Gratitude is not only about how it transforms your inner world, it's also about how it transforms the way you connect with others. One of the most overlooked truths about gratitude is that it builds bridges between people, bridges between hearts, bridges that allow trust, love, and respect to flow. No relationship thrives without appreciation. Think about it. How many times in life do we quietly assume people know how much we value them, but we never actually say it? We assume our parents know, our friends know, our partners know, our colleagues know. But gratitude that is never spoken, never expressed, is like a light that stays hidden. It has the power to brighten, but no one feels its warmth. When you choose to express gratitude towards someone, you are telling them, "I see you, I value you, I don't take you for granted." That acknowledgement alone strengthens the bond you share. Because at the end of the day, every human being longs for one thing: to be seen, to be appreciated, to be valued. Gratitude does that in the simplest but most profound way. It says, "You matter." And when people feel that, they show up with greater love, greater loyalty, and greater respect. In families, gratitude is the glue that keeps hearts close. It's easy to get caught up in the routines of daily life, to focus on what frustrates us rather than what we appreciate. But when we stop to say thank you for the sacrifices, the love, the care, even the smallest gestures, it changes the atmosphere. Arguments soften, distance fades, love deepens. Gratitude makes relationships resilient because it reminds us that behind every flaw, there is still so much good to honor. In friendships, gratitude is what separates shallow connections from lifelong bonds. A friend who feels appreciated will stand by you not because they have to, but because they want to. Gratitude nurtures trust. It turns moments into memories and makes people feel that they're not just filling space in your life, they're shaping it. The truth is, no matter how independent we think we are, none of us succeed alone. Every step forward is made easier by someone who encouraged us, believed in us, or simply walked beside us. Gratitude honors those people. It humbles us enough to admit we didn't get here by ourselves, and it elevates others by letting them know they are part of our journey. Even in professional settings, gratitude transforms dynamics. A leader who expresses genuine gratitude earns the loyalty of their team. A colleague who acknowledges the efforts of others creates a culture of respect. Gratitude has a ripple effect. It inspires more of it. When you express it, others feel compelled to pass it on. Before long, it turns into a culture where people feel recognized, valued, and motivated to give their best. That's the quiet power of gratitude. It not only changes individuals, it changes environments. But here's the most powerful part. Gratitude doesn't just strengthen relationships in good times, it heals them in difficult ones. Misunderstandings, conflicts, disappointments, these things are inevitable in any relationship. But when you choose gratitude, you're choosing to focus on the value of the person instead of only the hurt they may have caused. Gratitude softens pride. It opens the door to forgiveness. It says, yes, we've had our struggles, but I still value what you mean to me. And sometimes that acknowledgement is enough to repair what might otherwise be lost forever. Gratitude also teaches us humility. It reminds us that people are not obligated to show us kindness, yet they do. When you start to see every act of kindness as a gift instead of an entitlement, your relationships change. You stop demanding and start appreciating. You stop criticizing and start valuing. And when that shift happens, people feel safer with you, more connected to you, more willing to share themselves with you. Gratitude doesn't just build relationships, it deepens them. It's so easy in today's fast-paced world to overlook the people who make our lives brighter. We're busy, distracted, focused on our own challenges, but gratitude slows us down. It reminds us to look around and say, I see you, I appreciate you, thank you for being part of my life. And those simple words, when spoken from the heart, can mean more than we realize. They can lift someone's spirit, restore their hope, or remind them of their worth. The truth is, success, happiness, even resilience, none of these mean much if we walk through life disconnected from the people around us. Gratitude is what keeps us connected. It's what turns relationships from transactional into transformational. It's what makes people feel not just useful, but meaningful. And when you live with gratitude for the people in your life, you will never walk alone. Gratitude strengthens relationships because it reminds us that every person we meet is not just part of our journey. They are a gift within it. Happiness is something we all chase, yet so many people spend their entire lives searching for it in the wrong places. We're taught to believe that happiness comes when we reach a certain level of success, when we buy the dream house, when we earn the promotion, when everything in our lives finally lines up perfectly. But the truth is, those milestones often come and go, and while they bring temporary joy, they don't deliver lasting fulfillment. Gratitude, on the other hand, is what unlocks a kind of happiness that doesn't depend on circumstances. It allows you to feel joy not only in the extraordinary moments, but in the ordinary ones too. When you live with gratitude, you stop postponing happiness. You stop saying, I'll be happy when, and instead you start saying, I'm grateful now. That simple shift changes everything. Gratitude takes the pressure off achievements to define your worth. It frees you from the endless cycle of needing more and more just to feel enough. Because the truth is, no amount of wealth, recognition, or success will fill an ungrateful heart. But even the simplest things, a quiet morning, the laughter of a loved one, a meal shared with someone you care about, become more valuable than gold when you see them through the lens of gratitude. Gratitude teaches us that happiness isn't about the grand gestures. It's not about the extraordinary moments that happen once in a while. It's about finding joy in what's already in front of us every single day. The smile of a child, the strength you found to keep going after a hard day, the kindness of a stranger. Gratitude opens your eyes to blessings that have always been there, waiting to be noticed. And when you start noticing them, you begin to realize that happiness has been within reach all along. You just needed to pay attention. So many people spend their lives chasing things they believe will make them happy, only to feel empty once they have them. That's because happiness without gratitude is hollow. It fades quickly, but gratitude fills happiness with depth. It allows you to savor moments instead of rushing through them, to treasure people instead of taking them for granted, to celebrate victories no matter how small. Gratitude transforms happiness from a fleeting emotion into a lasting state of being. Think of it like this: success can give you achievements, but gratitude gives you fulfillment. Wealth can buy comfort, but gratitude gives you peace. Recognition can bring applause, but gratitude brings contentment. Without gratitude, you will always be searching. With it, you will always feel like you have more than enough. And that's why gratitude is the key to unlocking true happiness. Even science tells us that people who practice gratitude are happier, healthier, and more optimistic. Why? Because gratitude rewires the way you think. Instead of obsessing over what's wrong, it trains you to notice what's right. Instead of clinging to what you lack, it reminds you of what you already hold. That mental shift doesn't just change your mood, it changes your life. It helps you approach challenges with hope, relationships with compassion, and yourself with kindness. And here's something powerful to remember: gratitude is a choice. Happiness is not something you wait for, it's something you create. Every day, you have the choice to see what's missing or to honor what's present. Every day, you have the choice to complain about what went wrong or to celebrate what went right. Every day, you have the choice to measure yourself against others or to appreciate your own unique journey. Gratitude is the practice of choosing joy again and again until it becomes your natural state. The most fulfilled people are not those who have the most, but those who appreciate the most. They don't wait for perfect conditions to be happy. They create happiness through gratitude. They don't measure their lives by how much they've accumulated, but by how deeply they've lived. Gratitude turns ordinary days into extraordinary ones, because when your heart is full of appreciation, even the simplest moments become sacred. And that's the gift of gratitude. It frees you from the endless chase. It reminds you that joy isn't around the corner. It's right here, right now. It's in the air you breathe, the people you love, the lessons you've learned, the dreams you're still chasing. Gratitude doesn't just unlock happiness, it sustains it. It makes happiness less about conditions and more about perspective, less about what you get and more about how you see. Gratitude unlocks true happiness and fulfillment because it teaches you that you don't need more to be whole. You only need to open your eyes to the blessings that surround you every single day.